Welcome to my Apex Legends attachment guide. In this episode, I'll be covering the purple or epic rarity hop-up called Precision Choke. Now, the only two weapons as of this video that can utilize this attachment are the Peacekeeper shotgun and the triple take energy sniper rifle. As you'll soon see, this choke can drastically change how both these weapons perform. Before we get a better grasp as to what exactly this choke does for us, however, we need to learn a little bit about the Peacekeeper and the triple take themselves. So the Peacekeeper shotgun shoots 11 pellets per pull of the trigger, and each pellet does 10 damage to the body, 15 to the head, and 8 to the legs. That means if you hit all 11 pellets, you'll be doing 110 damage to the body, 165 to the head, and 88 to the legs. Now, of course, hitting all 11 pellets isn't that easy to pull off, and as such, you'll often see some horrific damage outputs, such as a measly 10 damage at pretty close range. Now, everyone who says this gun is unpredictable has no idea that the spread is the same every time, and it's in a star pattern. If you continually get 8 to 10 damage, you're simply missing your enemy and only hitting them with the edge of your spread. Now, one thing a lot of the population doesn't seem to realize with the Peacekeeper is that there's absolutely zero difference between when you ADS with it, and that's not a mistake on my part either. Without the choke attachment, ADSing the Peacekeeper does absolutely nothing. As you can see here, the pellet spread is absolutely identical between ADSing and hipfire, and the pattern is in the shape of the star in both examples. So as such, it's always better to hipfire with this in the heat of battle. Of course, if you ambush an enemy and can line up a headshot, then by all means you should ADS. Now as for the triple take, this is quite the unique weapon. It shoots 3 energy bullets out at a time in a horizontal pattern. And each of these bullets do 23 damage to the body, 46 to the head, and 16.6 to the legs. So that means should you hit all 3 bullets, you'll do 69 damage to the body, 138 to the head, and 50 to the legs. So despite the triple take's high damage rates, the weapon struggles at long distance encounters. The reason for this is the spray pattern we just saw, as it fires 3 bullets all in a straight row. And this is where the main problem begins, as the further the distance, the wider the spray of your bullets, making it even harder to land shots on your target. So now that we know how both these weapons function without the precision choke, let's see what this hop-up can do for us. So it functions similar on both weapons, although there are some differences still. Let's talk about the Peacekeeper first. In order to activate the precision choke, you have to ADS. The longer you hold your ADS, the further it'll charge. Now there's 3 stages to the charge, and each one takes approximately 0.5 seconds to charge up. So from the time you first aim down sights with this weapon until it's fully charged, it'll take approximately 1.5 seconds. Now as long as you maintain your aim here, the charge will stay. As your weapon charges, a blue static will emit from the weapon and a very loud charging noise is also heard. Now this can and will give your position away, as well as the Super Saiyan blue glow from your weapon. Your reticle will turn blue when it's fully charged. Now oddly enough, if you un-ADS, the charge will revert slower than the time it took to initially charge up. So watch here at the reticle shape as the charge unloads. You keep that tightest spread for a whopping 1.2 seconds, and then it reverts to larger and larger spreads until it finally goes back to normal at 2.4 seconds. So again, it takes 1.5 seconds to fully charge up, and to lose the charge, it takes 2.4 seconds. And this can be extremely beneficial if you're in a close quarters situation and you can utilize that fully charged up shot from a hipfire perspective. Of course, to get the maximum benefit, you'll want to be ADS though. Now as for the spread, a fully charged Peacekeeper shot will tighten that star pattern down to 80%. So it's not technically a single projectile, but it's pretty close. And this is where the Peacekeeper gets interesting. So if you weren't aware, there's no damage drop-off or range drop-off with this weapon. What that means is the precision choke quite literally turns the Peacekeeper into a makeshift sniper rifle. For example, hitting an enemy at 100 meters away with 6 pellets will do the same damage as if you're hitting him with 6 pellets at point blank range. Now imagine the surprise of your enemy getting cold cocked into oblivion at 100 meters away by a shotgun. This is the first time I've ever played a game and felt like the shotguns were firing a realistic number of physical projectiles, as opposed to just projecting damage in a cone. In real life, shotguns can fire up to 100 meters and kill. And this game demonstrates that nicely if and when you utilize this choke attachment. Now of course, it's not all smiles and sunshine. First, you have to actually hit your shots at range. Second, the further away the enemy is, the more the spread is going to be working against you, meaning you could hit your enemy for only 8 or 10 damage. So while it is nice to absolutely blast your enemy for 80 plus damage at extremely long ranges, it's also not very effective to plink them to death for 8 and 10 damage at that range either. However, don't let that distract you from the fact that the Precision Choke makes the Peacekeeper one of the most versatile weapons in the game. With this attachment, it's good at all ranges. You can use it in close quarters, medium ranges, and excel at long ranges as well. And this can often negate the need to pick up an actual sniper or marksman rifle. For example, instead of running a Spitfire LMG and say a longbow sniper rifle, you could just use the Peacekeeper with this Precision Choke. Now, while it's true that the longbow would do more damage in a faster time at range, the longbow would cripple you in close quarters, whereas the Peacekeeper gets even better. Now, one thing I failed to mention here is that the Peacekeeper can have a variety of optic sights as well. In fact, you can stick a 3-time HCOG on it and cold cock people upside the head pretty easily with a fully charged shot. So it's really a jack of all trades with this Precision Choke. Just remember that this choke doesn't increase your damage. It just makes it easier to hit all of your pellets. Now, as for the triple take with this choke, it's just slightly different. It uses the same charging mechanic as the Peacekeeper, in that there's 3 stages to the charge and it takes approximately 1.5 seconds to fully charge the shot. That same charge up noise and glow also emit from the weapon. What's different, however, is when you un-ADS. Again, with the Peacekeeper, the charge is retained in stages for 2.4 seconds. With the triple take, this isn't the case. As soon as you leave the ADS state, it instantly depletes the charge. And I'm not sure why this is though. It's not like a supercharged shot at close ranges would function any different than a non-charged one here. The triple take already crushes at close range right from the get-go with its horizontal bullet spread. Anyway, the idea here is that the Precision Choke concentrates the 3 bullets into one shot, which is harder to hit obviously, but would essentially do more damage. So for example, a point-blank shot with the triple take without the choke does 69 damage. And by using the Precision Choke, it just lets you hit that point-blank shot at a longer range. So with the choke attachment and a decent scope, it's probably the second best sniper to the Kraber, since one loaded headshot and one body shot does 207 damage, compared to 165 damage for a longbow. And even with the Skull Piercer attachment, one headshot and one body shot for the longbow does 192 damage, which doesn't quite reach that sweet 200 mark for health plus armor. Now, as mentioned, with close to mid-range engagements, the choke isn't really necessary. However, at long to extremely long distances, the tighter spread makes it extremely potent, especially if you can hit a headshot. And that, as they say, is that. The Precision Choke hop-up is an incredibly valuable attachment that can improve the damage output of both the Peacekeeper and the triple take. I'd say the Peacekeeper benefits way more than the triple take, simply because it allows this shotgun to reliably two-shot enemies at point-blank range, mid-range, and long range. It's rare that you find such a jack-of-all-trades weapon in a game, especially considering it's a shotgun. With the triple take, the choke allows for much more reliable headshots at long to extremely long ranges. Regardless, there's no denying the fact that the Precision Choke significantly increases the power of both the Peacekeeper and the triple take.